What's going on, YouTube? Gotta start off by saying thanks to everybody that subscribed. Never would have thought that one video would have taken me from a whopping 50 subscribers up to 140. So I'm hoping to keep the momentum rolling here. So I posted a video and a couple pictures on some of the forums on Facebook, my business page, Instagram, TikTok, all the good sites of this fireman's flag that I made. This one's already sold. It's going out to a friend of mine down in Texas. So in this video, I'm pretty much going to show you how I designed it, how I made it. Got some 1x12s. Gonna get those glued up. And while the glue's curing, I'm going to cut over to some screen captures of me designing it and walking through what I do when I'm making my files. May help some, may not, I don't know. Different ways of doing things. With that time frame, while I'm designing it, the boards will be gluing. I'm going to use Gorilla Glue. It sets up to 80% in like an hour. And then I'll put some pocket screws on the back side of it just to hold it together. We'll bring the file out from the house, load it up on the CNC machine, and we'll get it cutting. The way I'm going to design it is I got it set so it'll trace the outline. So it'll trace the outline of the stripes, the outline of the tear, and the outline of the fireman, so that way I can stop it after it's giving me that light outline. I can stain everything, then we can go back to carving it, and that way I stained this after I cut it, and yeah, it took some time. It probably took an hour to stain all this. So I'm just trying to see which one works best for me. Changed a couple of things up from this one. The offsets that you see right here, I changed that from a 0.1 to a 0.2. That was one of the notes that I made due to this reason right here. It's chipping out on a couple of spots. So just trying to make sure that that's not going to chip out again. I'll slow my speed rates down too when I'm cutting that, because when I cut that I think I was cutting that at like 90 inches per minute, and more than likely on the pine, that's probably why it blew out. So we'll get the skill saw out, we'll cut these boards to rough length, get a couple pocket screws in them, get it glued up, and while it's curing, we'll go in and we'll design. So I'll get you guys set up on the stand and we'll get the cutting. Alright, so pretty much what I'm going to do, use handheld pocket jig. I'm going to put a screw on each end, roughly an inch in from the edge. Flag's 29 inches is where I'm going to make it. So if I put it, these were cut to 32 as you saw in the video. So if I'm an inch in on both ends, should be safe, shouldn't hit the screws. Then we'll get it glued up, clamped up, and we'll let it set for the hour while we go design the flag. Alright, so that's glued up. So we'll let that cure. I'm going to go into the house, get that designed up, the flag designed up. I'll cut over to that now, and then we'll cut back out to here after it's designed, get this out of the clamps, get it on the CNC machine, and we'll get it going. Alright, so we're going to jump into designing this. I've downloaded Chris Powell's flag layout. I've got it saved so it's all one thing. So I've got the flag set here, all the stripes done, did the 1/4 inch reveal on the sides. Kind of agree with Chris, it looks better with it, with that little bit of reveal. So my back piece, I'm going to glue two 1x12s together, so it's 22 inches. That way I can put screws on the outside to hold it instead of clamps. So what I'll do is I'm going to take this, I'll group the whole thing together, and then I'm going to just center it up in the workspace. So now I'll come back and ungroup it. And that should leave my stars grouped, and then individual stripes, and then my outline cut. So then we're going to import the rip pattern that I've downloaded and converted over. Obviously it's a little bit on the small side, so I'll group that, and I'm going to make it, I'm going to start off with 14 inches, and we'll adjust it once we get it in place. So that's the pattern. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate it, just so it fits a little bit better. I'm going to go that style. So that's done. So now I can click on the scale pattern. I'm going to adjust it and go a little bit more. So now that that's done, remove it. And since it wants to snap to the grid, I'm going to take the grid off right now. So the one that I showed at the beginning of the video, it went into the union a little bit. I'm going to carry that on. I thought that was kind of a neat look. So once you get that set, you want to ungroup this. Oops. I want to ungroup it. And because then I'm going to pick the very outside line, and I'm going to do an offset on it. Now, hardwoods, you can get away with a 0.1 like Chris does. Maybe some select pine you can. When I did the one flag that I showed, it tended to chip out the smaller areas. I think it might have been a combination of graining and running it too fast. I'm not sure. But I'm going to go 0.2. We're going to do it to the outside, and we're going to apply it. So now I'm going to turn the snap to grid back on. Now, for every stripe that you got, every star that you got, you need another outline. So I usually just pick a spot, Control C, and then I'll get this to line back up. I might need to zoom in a little better. So you're going to want to make as many. If you make a couple extras, it's not the end of the world. You can always delete them. So that way when you zoom out, so we'll take this first stripe, we're going to highlight the first stripe, shift, highlight one of the offsets, and we're going to click it. So what that does is it cuts this all out. So once we've gone through, this line will disappear and this will stay. So we'll come up here, we'll catch this one, connect the outside, do it, and it takes it away from the inside too, which is nice. So we're going to just go through and hit all the stripes first. And that took away my line, so I didn't have enough, so we'll come back out, pick a spot, Control C, makes me another one, and then we'll zoom back out, and we'll carry on with this. So now when you get to the stars, I haven't tried doing all of them, but we'll see what it does. So that works. Not sure what's going on. Oops. Not sure what's going on there, but we'll connect this. And so then I did it here too. So you just go back through and just make sure that everything is cleaned up. This little piece, I'm not even going to worry about cutting that. So now that that's all set, now we'll import our firefighter. resize them. Now if you grab the corner, it keeps it in proportion. But if you grab it here, you can make a fat one, and you can make a skinny one. So I'm going to go back to the original scale. I'm going to take off the snap to grid again, and we're going to resize him. I'm trying to make it for this hose connects down here. So if I do something, so I'm going to let him stay right there. So now we need to ungroup him. And we need to make a duplicate of the outside. There. And we need to do another offset. And this time, we probably, you know what, I'm not going to do an offset. Let's cancel that. So we're going to take this guy, we're going to do the mullion. Whoops, wrong one. That's not what I want. That's not what I want. That's the one I want. So then I'm going to take this one, and I'll delete it. So now it kind of looks like he's standing on top of it. So now with that set, everything's all squared away. These smaller pieces, boy, you really got to zoom in on them. So that's the layout. So now what we'll do is we're going to go over to Toolpath, and I'm going to pick this one, and the outside line, and this one. And I'm going to do a contour. I'm going to do 0.05. So it just barely, just so it barely scratches the surface. I don't want pocket. I'm going to do inside. So I'm going to hit OK. So what that's going to do for me is that now gives me the outline for the blue, for the union, and it's going to give me the outline for the red. And then I could probably get away with, if I come back to this and I click on this one, if I do the same thing, I'm going to go to the outside though. I'm going to do the same thing, and I hit OK. It's going to take 15 minutes to do this, but that's going to give me the outline. So like all this will be blue, all this will be red, this will be gray or white, and then I can do. I probably won't do the black. I might do the black for the majority of it, except for where his feet are, and just touch it up when it's all done. Actually, if I wanted to, I could probably hit this one, hit contour, and that's going to do the outside or inside, which that should be good. So we'll hit that. So now what that's going to do is, now I can see where my black's going to be. Now I can see where my white's going to be, the red, and then the blue. So we'll hide the sim. So once that's done, now what I'll do is I'll come up here, I'll go back over to design, and what I'll do is I'm going to try to box as many of these in as I can. Shift, pick up the ones that were missed. Group them. Then go over to Toolpath. And then we're going to do advanced V-curve.
OK. Actually, I'm not going to do the advanced V-curve. I'm going to do plain V-curve. We're going to take... Actually, I think I forgot to change the bit on that, but that's okay. So now we're going to bump that up. I'm going to bump it up to 55. Leave everything else the same. It's your choice. And that says it's going to take 45 minutes. So let's go back and check advanced V-curve. Yeah, it's... No, that was the V-curve. Okay. Let's see how long this is going to take. That's going to take an hour and 10 minutes. I'm going to say no. So let's try contour. Or not contour. Let's go to V-curve. Let's edit the tool. Let's change it. So that'll do that. So now what I need to do is I need to collect all the stripes. Once all the stripes are collected, I'm going to go to contour, 1/8 inch. I'm going to bump it up to 60. And then I'm going to change it to 0.10. I'm going to pocket it. Okay. So now you're starting to see the final product here. So then what we're going to do is we're going to come back. I'm going to click on this. Not that. I'm going to click on here. Click on this one. And I got to get it closer. So if I click on this one, and this one, we're going to do contour again. I'm going to edit it. I'm going to go to 60. And it's 0.10. We're going to pocket it. And I'm going to have OK. That's the longest one. I'm using an 1/8 inch bit just because of the small areas. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here and click on all the little parts inside of the guy, inside of the firefighter. And then I'm going to pocket those. Same depth. Except with these fine lines right here, I'm going to keep it at 20. Just hoping that might keep them there. Okay, I didn't deselect the other field, so let's go back and do this again. Pluck it so it won't get this, and it won't come down this way, which isn't the end of the world. This here is going to be kind of raspy. This same too. So we'll hit OK. Now we're going to show the simulation. So that's what it'll look like once it's all set and ready to go. So we're going to save this. I'm going to save it as plain old fireman flag. And then I need to get my hard drive from the shop. I'll save the G code, and no, hey, let's not save it that way. Let's go back. Let's hide the simulation and let's get the final outcut done. So this one here, I'll bump it up to the 1/4 inch bit. So we're gonna run a 201. I run them at 75. So 0.76. We're gonna go to the outside. We're gonna edit the tabs, and I'm gonna put a good amount of grouping on. So like I said, this will tab it. I'll put screws up here. Last time I clamped it on the side when I made this final pass, it pushed in, caused the piece to twist and fail. Not the end of the world. So now we'll save it. And we'll do and when we come back, we'll be out in the shop.
Alright, so that's all cured up. I gave it probably about 3 hours altogether. So we'll pull it out of the clamps, and then I'm going to sand down the seams to get the glue off of there. I'll touch up the my board on the CNC, and we'll get it over on the CNC. We'll get it all squared up, and we'll get this thing a cutting. Alright, I forget to hit record, but so I got the piece all squared in. Just drilled some holes up at the top, down near the bottom. That should secure it. I've got a slight curve that I don't think I can do much about. Shouldn't affect any. You might see a little bit in the stars, but when I sand it down, that should go away. So got the profile already loaded. Don't know if you'll be able to make it out, but shows which bits to start with. 2 hours and 54 minutes on this, but that's at 100%. Obviously, once it starts cutting, I can bump it up a little bit. So I'm gonna get the dust collection set up. I'll probably set you guys up on time-lapse mode, and we'll get this thing rolling. Alright, so as it's doing its initialization, as you saw in the video that I screen captured, hope it's okay. First time ever doing that. It's going to do the outline. So once it's done with the outline, we'll get the stains out and mix them up. We'll pause the machine, and then I'll stain around the best I can. If I got to touch a couple spots because I couldn't get to them, I'll do that. It's way better than staining it now and letting the machine trim away the waste. That way it's all nice and clean and crisp. We'll obviously have to do a little bit of sanding on the edges of the grooves, but once we get to that point, we'll see how bad it is. So get you guys set up in time lapse, figure out a place to put you, and we'll get things going. Okay, so try to give you an idea. So it's giving me the outline of the firefighter, the outline of the smoke ring around him, the outline of the first stripe just below the union, and then up here, that's the other side of the union. So what I'm going to do, I'll get some tape across the edges of those, stain it blue, peel that tape, stain everything red, stain everything white, and I'll stain everything black except for the foot of the fireman and where the hose is. I'll stop it just a little bit shy. That way I can touch it up after it's all done. I set it up in the profile. I don't know if you saw while I was doing the setup. I set this pass up first so it outlined everything, and then I set it up for the stars, so that way once it did this outline, it would stop and ask for a bit change. So the next bit's going to be the 301, the V bit to cut the stars. So set it up that way so it'll stop. Shouldn't hurt anything to just let it sit in this stage for the 5 to 10 minutes it's going to take me to stain all this. So I'll go get the stain, we'll get it set up, and we'll start staining this. Alright, so during the time lapse you might have saw that I stopped staining over on this side. I'm going to try to get it to where you can pick it up. You might not be able to, or might be able to. So right here in the center, where my finger is where the two boards are glued together. And it's cupped up away from the table. I could have put a screw in it, but I didn't want to take a chance of hitting the screw. So I thought it'd be alright. So because of that, you can see these stairs, they're nice and clean, crisp, come to a point. Then as you get out where this cup is, they don't come to a point. So I'm going to probably end up having to take it, not that I want to, but I want it to look nice. I'll take it, and I'm going to end up putting 60 grit in the sander after it's all done. I'll sand it down, and that one, it'll make the stars come back to being the same size as the ones up near the top of the union, and it should get the point back to them. So to make them all look proportional. As long as I get them close enough to where you really got to study it to see it, then we're good. Then I'll unfortunately have to stain around all those stars. So I'm going to get the other bit in. It's ready for the 1/8 inch to start doing all the pockets. So I'm going to let it go ahead and pocket it, and probably won't record any of that. I'll come back to it once it's all said and done, let you guys see it. Alright, so it's kind of done. The 2 pocket screws I put in the back. Should have went in a little more. Where is it? Right there. So my bit as it came across doing the final cut hit it. So I'll pop it out of here. We'll take that screw out, and then we'll just trim it with the skill saw, sand it down to the edge, and then we'll get to finishing it. Alright, so I took it over the belt sander, over the drum sander there. So now we're gonna get the sandpaper out, get on the orbital, and we're gonna try to hit these to try to get them as crisp as these up here. I may have to come over onto this. I need to hit here too. I got some stain there, but I'll set you guys up, probably up in front there. Time lapse it, and then I'll bring you guys back, and we'll get the stain and the torching done. Alright, so we got it all cleaned up. There it is. Got all the little nooks and crannies the best I could. So now I'll set you guys up after I fix the couple here that I just spotted. But I'll get you guys set up. I'll probably stain the fireman first, then I'll go around and do the white, then do the blue, and then I'll do the red, however. And then we'll torch it, and then that should be a wrap on this, other than the polyurethane. I don't think you guys need to see me put polyurethane on, but I'll put a picture of it at the end with it all polyed. So I'm going to set you guys up, and we'll get to get the stain in this thing. Alright, so I don't know if you saw in the time lapse, I started out on the black with rubber gloves on. I got big hands, and I don't fit in the gloves the best, and they tend to drag. And as you can see, I got spots there, spots there, spots here, and then I got red over here. Trying to do blues and gloves gives me a little bit more control. And then on the stars, what I did was, if you noticed, I'm not sure if you're gonna be able to see it in the time lapse. I didn't look. I folded the paper towel so it was nice and wide, so it wouldn't sink into the stars. So I'm gonna get my detail sander out, get those spots touched up, and then we'll get the torch out. All right, so all the spots are touched up. There it is. So I'm gonna get you guys set in the stand, and I'm gonna let you watch it change from that to the weathered look with the torch. So we'll put you over there in that tripod. Alright, so that's the end product. I'll get that polyed up. I'll post a picture in with the video if I get a chance to. But like I said at the beginning of the video, man, I appreciate all the likes, all the subscribes. It blew me away that one video got me over 100, and it's made my stats on YouTube climb pretty good for just a no-namer. So I'll get this buttoned up. This one's headed to Texas. Austin, if you're watching it, thank you. But we'll get it buttoned up, get it in a box. Next project, I don't know, I might do a police badge one. I got some police friends. Might do one of those up, see if any of those guys want one for the holidays. Might make a couple of gifts. Looking at a couple of gear clocks too, wooden gear clocks. That may be an adventure I take on maybe after Thanksgiving. We'll see what goes on. Got a couple of craft shows coming up. So again, appreciate it. Make sure you hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button mostly. Word of mouth gets me out there. I'm on Twitter, I'm on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. I got a business site, got my YouTube channel. So stay tuned for the next video. And again, thank you.